chemical bonding. Matter is made up of one or different types of atoms. If you look into the periodic table, only the group 18 elements, that is the noble gases, exist independently, whereas all the other elements will combine with one another of the same kind or different kind to form molecules or compounds having specific characteristic properties. Now, the attractive force which holds the constituent particles, that is, it may be an atom, it may be ion, or it may be even molecules, together within a molecule is called a chemical bond. That is, a chemical bond is an attractive force which holds together the constituent particles. And now there are a number of questions that may arise. The first thing, why do atoms combine? We know that atoms combine to form molecules or compounds. Why should atoms combine? And the second question, why are only certain combinations possible? For example, two hydrogen atoms combine to form H2 molecule, whereas three hydrogen atoms will never combine and they do not form H3 molecule. Why is that so? And the third question, why do some atoms combine while certain others do not? For example, two hydrogen atoms combine to form H2 molecule, whereas two helium atoms will never combine to form He2 molecule. Why is that so? And lastly, molecules possess a definite shape. Why? Why does molecule possess a definite shape? To answer these questions, different theories have been put forward, namely Kozul-Lewis approach, valence shell electron pair repulsion theory, valence bond theory, and molecular orbital theory. We will study in detail about these theories. Kozul-Lewis approach to chemical bonding. This theory was proposed by Kozul and Lewis in 1916. And this theory is based on the electronic concept of atom. So, it is also referred to as electronic theory of valency. Now, if you look into the periodic table, only group 18 elements are considered to be highly stable and they have an independent existence, whereas all the other atoms do not exist independently. Now, why is that so? If you look into the electronic configuration of noble gases, they have completely filled valence shell. That is, their general electronic configuration is Ns2Np6, except in the case of helium, in which it has an electronic configuration of 1s2. Therefore, having a completely filled valence shell is considered as the reason for the stability of these noble gases. So, having 8 electrons in the valence shell or having a completely filled valence shell is considered to be the reason for the stability of noble gases, and this led to a rule known as octet rule. What do you mean by octet rule, or what does this octet rule tells us about? Octet rules refers to the tendency of atoms of different elements to have 8 electrons in their outermost shell. That is, octet. Having 8 electrons in the outermost shell is considered as octet, or 2 electrons in their outermost shell. That is, duplet in case of hydrogen, lithium and beryllium to attain stable nearest noble gas configuration. That is, as I have told you, every atom tends to have 8 electrons or 2 electrons in their valence shell, and that is the reason for the formation of chemical bond. The next question, how do atoms combine, or what are the modes of chemical combination? Atoms combine together in order to complete their respective octet, so that they acquire the stable inert gas configuration. We have learned this, that every atom will like to have 8 electrons in their outermost shell or 2 electrons in their outermost shell. That is, they like to have octet structure or duplet structure. And how is this possible? How can this happen? This can occur in two ways. By complete transfer of one or more electrons from one atom to another. We all know that in order to complete the octet structure or duplet, the atoms will transfer the electrons or will receive the electrons from other atoms. That is, the complete transfer of electrons takes place from the valence shell of one atom to the valence shell of another atom. This process is referred to as electrovalency, and the chemical bond that is formed is termed as electrovalent bond or ionic bond. That is, ionic bond is formed due to a complete transfer of one or more electrons from the valence shell of one atom to the valence shell of another atom. The second way is by sharing of electrons. This sharing of electrons can also occur in two ways. First way, when the shared electrons are contributed by the two combining atoms equally. That is, the two combining atoms will contribute equally towards the sharing of electrons, and such a bond is called a covalent bond. That is, in the case of a covalent bond, there is equal sharing of electrons between the two combining atoms. Second way, when these electrons are contributed entirely by one of the atoms but shared by both, the bond formed is known as a coordinate bond or a dative bond. In the case of a coordinate bond, there is sharing of electrons, but it is unequal sharing, where one atom just contributes and it is known as the donor atom, and the other atom without any contribution just shares the pair of electrons, and it is referred to as the acceptor atom, and such a type of bond is known as a coordinate bond or a dative bond. Lewis symbols. In the formation of a molecule, only the outer shell electrons take part in chemical combination, and they are known as valence electrons. The inner shell electrons are well protected and are generally not involved in the combination process. Remember, whenever a chemical bond formation takes place, it is only the outermost electrons, which is referred to as the valence electrons, that participate in the bond formation, and the electrons which are present inside are well protected and they are not involved in the formation of a chemical bond. So, a Lewis symbol is a symbol in which the electrons in the valence shell of an atom or a simple ion are represented by dots placed around the symbol of the element. So, a Lewis symbol is nothing but a symbolic representation of the atom along with its electrons or along with its valence electrons, and these valence electrons are represented in the form of dots. Now, let us consider the Lewis symbol of some elements. First, let us consider sodium. Sodium has a valence shell electronic configuration 3s1, that is, it has one electron in its valence shell. How to represent the Lewis symbol of sodium? Firstly, we will write the chemical symbol of sodium, that is Na. Since it has one valence electron, you will write it or represent it by a single dot around the symbol of sodium. Similarly, magnesium. Magnesium has two valence electrons. Mg is the chemical symbol for magnesium, and the two valence electrons are represented by two dots around the chemical symbol of magnesium. Similarly, aluminium. Aluminium has three valence electrons and its valence shell electronic configuration is 3s2 3p1, and those three valence electrons are represented by three dots around the chemical symbol of aluminium. Likely, silicon. Silicon has four valence electrons and its valence shell electronic configuration is 3s2 3p2. That is, it has four valence electrons and the 4 valence electrons are represented by 4 dots around the chemical symbol of silicon. Next comes phosphorus. The valence shell electronic configuration of phosphorus is 3s2 3p3. That is, it has 5 electrons in its valence shell, and these 5 valence electrons can be represented by 5 dots around the chemical symbol of phosphorus. Next, we will consider sulfur. Sulfur has the valence shell electronic configuration 3s2 3p4. That is, it has 6 valence electrons, and the Lewis symbol of sulfur is written by 6 dots around the chemical symbol of sulfur. Next comes chlorine. Its valence shell electronic configuration is 3s2 3p5. That is, it has 7 electrons in its valence shell. And how do we represent the Lewis symbol for chlorine? Cl is the chemical symbol of chlorine, and since it has 7 electrons in its valence shell, these 7 electrons are represented by 7 dots around the chemical symbol for chlorine. Next comes argon. Argon has a complete octet. That is, its valence shell electronic configuration is 3s2 3p6. That is, it has 8 electrons in its valence shell, and the Lewis symbol for argon is represented by writing the chemical symbol of argon, that is Ar, and by representing the 8 valence electrons by 8 dots. Similarly, here I have included the Lewis symbol of elements from hydrogen to argon. You can just go through it. Significance of Lewis symbol. The number of dots around the symbol represents the number of valence electrons, and this number of valence electrons helps to calculate the common or group valency of the element. We just now learned that the number of dots around the symbol represents what? It represents the number of valence electrons. For example, sodium. Around the chemical symbol of sodium, you have 1 dot. It represents that sodium has 1 valence electron. Similarly, magnesium. There are 2 dots around magnesium, which represents there are 2 valence electrons around magnesium, and this number of valence electron will help to calculate the common or group valency of the element. How? We will learn that now. The common valency of the elements is either equal to the number of dots in the Lewis symbol condition if these are less than or equal to 4, or 8 minus the number of dots if these are greater than 4. Now we will take some example. Coming to sodium. What is the common valency of sodium? Now sodium has only 1 electron or 1 valence electron. Therefore, the common valency of the element belonging to the group sodium will be always equal to 1. And coming to magnesium, the common valency of all the elements which belongs to the group of magnesium will be 2. For aluminium, the valency will be always 3. For silicon and all the other elements that are present below silicon, the common valency will be equal to 4. Now coming to phosphorus and all the other elements which are present below phosphorus, here there are 5 valence electrons, but what does the rule say? The common valency of the element is equal to the number of dots in the Lewis symbol if they are less than 4, but here the number of dots is greater than 4. If it is greater than 4, then it should be 8 minus the number of dots. Therefore, since the number of dots is greater than 4, the group valency should be 8 minus 5, and that will be equal to 3 in the case of phosphorus and all the other elements which are present below phosphorus in the periodic table. Likely, coming to sulfur and the other elements that are present below sulfur, the group valency will be equal to 8 minus 6, that will be equal to 2. In the case of chlorine, it will be equal to 8 minus 7, that will be equal to 1. In the case of argon and all the other elements that are present below argon, it will be equal to 8 minus 8, that will be equal to 0. Covalent bond. The bond formed between two atoms by mutual sharing of electrons between them so as to complete their octet or duplet, that is in the case of hydrogen, is called a covalent bond. So remember, a covalent bond is formed due to equal sharing of electrons between two atoms, and the number of electrons contributed by each atom is known as its covalency. The number of electrons that each atom contributes is known as its covalency. Now let us take an example of chlorine and we'll study how does a covalent bond forms. We all know that chlorine has an atomic number of 17 and its electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. That is, it has 7 electrons in its valence shell. It has 7 electrons in its valence shell and it has a deficiency of 1 electron to complete its octet. Now, if I represent the Lewis symbol of chlorine that we had studied now, Cl is the chemical symbol of chlorine and the valence electrons are represented by 7 dots. And if I consider second chlorine atom, even the second chlorine atom will have 7 electrons in its valence shell, and each chlorine atom has a deficiency of 1 electron to complete their octet structure. So what happens? These two chlorine atoms combine by sharing 1 pair of electron between themselves, and since 1 pair of electron is shared, there will be a formation of single covalent bond and the octet structure of both the chlorine atom will be satisfied. That is, this chlorine atom will contribute 1 electron, this chlorine atom will contribute 1 electron, and there will be 1 pair of electron that is shared between both the chlorine atom, and it can be represented in this way. You have first chlorine atom which has 7 electrons in its valence shell. You have second chlorine atom which also has 7 electrons in its valence shell, and this 1 pair of electron is shared between both the chlorine atoms. Since 1 pair of electron is shared between both the chlorine atoms, there exists a single covalent bond between both these chlorine atoms, and if you can observe here, the octet structure of both the chlorine atoms are satisfied. That is, in the case of chlorine molecule, both the chlorine atoms will have 8 electrons in their valence shell, and since there is a single covalent bond, the covalent bond is represented by a single line between two chlorine atoms. Similarly, we will consider the formation of HCl. HCl is made up of 1 hydrogen atom and 1 chlorine atom. If we consider chlorine, it has an atomic number of 17 and its electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p5, 3s2, 3p5. That is, chlorine has 7 valence electrons. Similarly, hydrogen its atomic number is 1 and its electronic configuration is 1s1 and it has 1 valence electrons. Now, during the formation of HCl, chlorine has a deficiency of 1 electron to satisfy its octet. On the other hand, even hydrogen has a deficiency of 1 electron to satisfy its duplet. Now, what happens? Hydrogen, it has 1 valence electron, and chlorine, it has 7 valence electron, and these two atoms has a deficiency of 1 electron to satisfy their duplet in the case of hydrogen and octet in the case of chlorine. Now what happens? Each atom will contribute 1 electron, therefore the duplet of hydrogen will also be satisfied and the octet of chlorine will also be satisfied, and there will be a sharing of pair of electrons between hydrogen and chlorine. Since a pair of electron is shared between hydrogen and chlorine, there will be a single covalent bond formed between hydrogen and chlorine, which is represented by a single line between hydrogen and chlorine, and in this case the duplet of hydrogen is also satisfied and the octet of chlorine is also satisfied, and this type of bond which is formed due to equal sharing of electrons between two atoms is known as a covalent bond. And if we observe here, the contribution made by hydrogen is 1 and the contribution made by chlorine is also 1, therefore the covalency of both hydrogen and chlorine is 1 in this case. During the formation of a covalent bond, there may be even a double bond between the two combining atoms, or there may be even a triple bond between the two combining atoms. A double bond is formed when two pairs of electrons are shared between the combining atoms, and a triple bond is formed when 3 pairs of electrons are shared between the combining atoms. Now, let us take the example of oxygen molecule and study the formation of a double bond. We all know that oxygen molecule has a formula O2, that is, it is formed by the combination of 2 oxygen atoms, and the atomic number of oxygen is 8 and its electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. That is, each oxygen has 6 valence electrons. Now, each oxygen has a deficiency of 2 electrons to complete their octet structure. Therefore, if I represent the oxygen atom by Levi's symbol, O is the symbol of oxygen. Each oxygen will have 6 dots. That is, it has 6 valence electrons which are represented by 6 dots. Even the second oxygen atom will have 6 valence electrons which is represented by 6 dots. Now, if we observe here, each oxygen atom should now require 2 more electrons to complete their octet structure. That is, they need 2 more electrons so that they will have 8 electrons in their valence shell. Now, what happens? These 2 oxygen atoms will share 2 pairs of electrons between them, so that the octet structure of the first oxygen atom and the octet structure of the second oxygen atom will be satisfied. That is, each oxygen atom will have 8 electrons in their valence shell, and since 2 pairs of electrons are shared between these 2 oxygen atoms, there exists a double bond between these 2 oxygen atoms. Similarly, in the case of nitrogen molecule, we know that nitrogen has an atomic number of 7 and its electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. That is, it has 5 valence electron, and nitrogen has a deficiency of 3 electrons to complete its octet structure. In the case of nitrogen molecule, it is made up of 2 nitrogen atoms, and each nitrogen has a deficiency of 3 electrons to complete their octet, and the Lewis symbol for nitrogen can be represented in this way. That is, N is the chemical symbol of nitrogen, and these 5 dots represents the 5 valence electrons. Now these 2 nitrogen atoms, to complete their octet structure, will share 3 pairs of electrons between themselves, so that each nitrogen atom will have 8 electrons in their valence shell. Now you have nitrogen 1, which has 5 electrons in its valence shell, and I have nitrogen 2, which also has 5 valence electrons in its valence shell. Now these 2 nitrogen atoms, to complete their octet, will share 3 pairs of electrons between themselves. Therefore both the nitrogen atoms will have 8 electrons in their valence shell, or will have the complete octet. And since 3 pairs of electrons are shared between 2 nitrogen atoms, there exists a triple bond between these 2 nitrogen atoms, and a triple bond is represented by 3 lines between the 2 combining atoms. Lewis representation of simple ions and molecule structure, that is, Lewis structure of simple ions and molecules. We all know that the Lewis dot structure provides a picture of bonding in molecules and ions in terms of shared pair of electrons and the octet rule. The Lewis dot structure can be written by adopting the following steps. That is, these are the rules that we follow while writing the Lewis structure for simple ions and molecule. What is the first rule? First, you are supposed to calculate the total number of valence electrons of the atoms present. First, look into the number of atoms that is present in the molecule or the ion, and calculate the total number of valence electrons of all the atoms present. Second step, if the species is an anion, we all know that an anion is nothing but a negatively charged species. And if the species is an anion, add the number of electrons equal to the units of negative charge. And if the species is a cation, that is, if the species is a positively charged ion, then you are supposed to subtract the number of electrons equal to the units of positive charge. This gives the number of electrons to be distributed. Third rule, select the central atom. The next thing that you are supposed to do is to select the central atom. Generally, the least electronegative atom will be selected as the central atom, and you are supposed to draw the skeletal structure to indicate which atom is linked to which other atom. Usually hydrogen and fluorine will occupy the terminal positions. Next thing, put one shared pair of electrons between every 2 atoms. We have calculated the number of valence electrons, and what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to put one shared pair of electrons between every 2 atoms to represent a single bond between them. Next, use the remaining pair of electrons either for multiple bonding or to show them as lone pairs, keeping in mind that octet of each atom is complete. After writing the skeletal structure, you are supposed to first put one shared pair of electrons between every 2 atoms so that it represents a single bond between them. And next, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to use the remaining pair of electrons either for multiple bonding or to show them as lone pairs, keeping in mind that octet of each atom is complete. We just came across a new word, lone pair. What do you mean by lone pair? What do you mean by bond pairs? The shared pair of electrons present between the atoms are called bond pairs because they are responsible for the bonding between the atoms. Any pair of electrons present between two atoms are called as bond pairs, and the valence electron which are not involved in bonding or which are not shared are shown as such and are called non-bonding electrons or lone pairs or unshared pairs. That is, the valence electron which are not involved in the formation of a chemical bond are called as lone pairs or unshared pairs or non-bonding electrons. Now we will write the Lewis dot structure of carbon dioxide molecule. We all know that the first step is to calculate the total number of valence electrons of the atoms present. The formula of carbon monoxide is CO. We know that 6 is the atomic number of carbon and its valence shell electronic configuration will be 2s2 2p2, or the electronic configuration of carbon is 1s2 2s2 2p2. That is, carbon has 4 valence electrons. Similarly, atomic number of oxygen is 8 and its electronic configuration is 1s2 2s2 2p4. That is, oxygen has 6 valence electrons. Now in total there are 10 valence electrons in the case of carbon monoxide. If there are 10 valence electrons, it means that there are 5 electron pairs. So this will be the first step in writing the Lewis structure of molecule. Since it's a neutral molecule, we will not add or we will not subtract any electrons related to the charge. Now the next step, you are supposed to select the central atom. Since there are only 2 atoms, there will be no central atom, and you are supposed to draw the skeletal structure. The skeletal structure in this case will be CO. So we have written the skeletal structure for carbon monoxide, which is CO. Next, what are you supposed to do? Put one shared pair of electrons between every 2 atoms to represent a single bond between them. You are supposed to put one shared pair of electron. So what have I done? I have put one shared pair of electrons between carbon and oxygen. Now we are left with 4 electron pairs. Now the 4 electron pairs are written in such a way that the 3 electron pairs are around oxygen and 1 electron pair is around carbon. If I do so, the octet of oxygen will be complete, but the octet of carbon is not complete. So what I do? I will now put 2 electron pairs between carbon and oxygen. So see here, there is a single electron pair between carbon and oxygen. Now I put 2 electrons pair between carbon and oxygen. In this case, what happens? The octet of oxygen is complete, but carbon has only 6 electrons. So what do? I put 3 electron pairs between carbon and oxygen, so that the octet of carbon is also complete and the octet of oxygen is also complete. And since there are 3 electron pairs between carbon and oxygen, there exists a triple bond between carbon and oxygen in the case of carbon monoxide. and there will be one lone pair of electrons on carbon and there will be one lone pair of electrons on oxygen. Therefore, the Lewis structure for carbon monoxide will be in this way. Now, we will try to write the Lewis structure for nitrite ion, that is NO2 minus ion. First thing, you are supposed to calculate the number of valence electrons on all the atoms. We know that nitrogen has an atomic number of 7 and its electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. That is, nitrogen has 5 valence electrons. Similarly, oxygen has an atomic number of 8 and its electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. That is, oxygen has 6 valence electrons. But in the case of NO2 minus ions, there are 2 oxygen atoms. Therefore, from 2 oxygen atoms, there will be 12 valence electrons. And here, NO2 minus, it's a negatively charged ion or it's an anion. Since it is negatively charged, we are supposed to add the number of negative charges. That is, since the negative charge is -1, we are supposed to add 1 electron, and totally there will be 18 valence electrons present in NO2 minus, or there will be 9 electron pairs. And the next step will be writing the skeletal structure. In this case, nitrogen will be present at the center and it will be surrounded by 2 oxygen atoms. Next step, we are supposed to put 1 electron pair as the bonded pair between the atoms that are present. That is, I will put 1 pair of electrons between nitrogen and oxygen and 1 pair of electron between these nitrogen and oxygen. Therefore, we are left with 7 electron pairs. Out of these 7 electron pairs, I arrange them as 3 lone pairs on each oxygen atom, so that the octet structure of oxygen will be complete and the remaining 1 pair of electron is placed on nitrogen. And since it is a negatively charged ion, I should indicate the negative charge also. If you look into this structure, the octet structure of both the the octet structure of oxygen is complete, but the octet of nitrogen is not complete. It has only 6 electrons. Therefore, there is a need for a multiple bond between one nitrogen and oxygen. Therefore, what I do, I just put this lone pair in between the nitrogen and oxygen, and what will happen? There will be 8 electrons around this nitrogen. The octet of this oxygen is complete. There will be 8 electrons between, or there will be 8 electrons around nitrogen, and the octet of nitrogen is also complete, and there will be 8 electrons around oxygen, and the octet of oxygen is also complete. And the structure can be written in this way: since there is only 1 pair of electrons shared between this nitrogen and this oxygen, there will be a single bond between that nitrogen and oxygen, and since there are 2 pairs of electrons shared between this nitrogen and this oxygen, there will be a double bond between nitrogen and oxygen, and the lone pair of electrons are also represented. There is 1 lone pair of electron on nitrogen and there are 2 lone pair of electrons on the second oxygen. and this will be the Lewis structure for NO2 minus ion.